Have you ever wondered, what do they do for entertainment in the Verde Valley? It's such a rural area. It's not like Phoenix at all. What do people do here? Well, today's video, I'm going to share a number of activities that I have done personally, and I'm going to talk about some that certainly people can do up here. It's kind of one of those places that you have to look in different parts of the Verde Valley to find activities. We have activities in Clarkdale, Cottonwood, Cornville, Sedona, Jerome, and we are close to doing activities in Williams. That's an hour and a half away. There's some cool stuff there. We'll get to that. There is an hour and a half to Phoenix if you really want to go there. It's an hour and a half to Flagstaff. It's an hour and a half to Payson, and it's under 3 hours to go to the Grand Canyon. So if you're bored living in the Verde Valley, it's because you chose not to go out and look for activities. So today, like I said, I'm going to share pictures of activities that I've done with different people, with my family that I've taken pictures of, and there's just some really great things. Now you're going to see a lot of pictures of the Red Rocks and landscape and view pictures. Why? Because I hike. I hike a lot. And whenever I'm out there hiking, I look out and I just think, wow, God made this for me. He put all this together for me to enjoy. And when I moved over to Cottonwood and I started hiking behind us in the Mingus Mountain Range, I thought, look at this awesome playground that God left for me here. And I've been taking advantage of it ever since I moved over here. So hiking is a really big activity in the Verde Valley because there's hiking in Cottonwood, there's hiking in Camp Verde, there's hiking in Sedona. There's pretty much hiking trails all over the Verde Valley. So you can do things from really easy, and the kids love it, to really challenging up in the Sedona Red Rocks. So it really depends on who's hiking and how much skill people have and how far you want to go, because you can go on some really long multi-day trips. I have a friend who will backpack and she'll go out and she'll be out hiking in the Sedona trails for like 2 days and camp out there. Okay, so that's a serious hiker slash backpacker. Also, a lot of these trails, people ride their mountain bikes. I think they're crazy because if you see some of these pictures, you're going to see it's sheer rock a lot of times. But they're out there on their mountain bikes. God bless them. I personally have an aversion to injury, so I prefer not. Now, on one of my hiking trips a couple years ago, right before Thanksgiving, I was out hiking. I had my sticks. I'm out there going, and for whatever reason, I literally face planted on the trail. Right on my face, smashed my glasses into my face, had a nice smudge on my abrasion on my face, and it looked like somebody punched me. But that's why I just don't do mountain biking. But that is done here a lot as well. It's very, very popular, as well as biking trails all over, just within the city and otherwise. So biking, hiking are really popular. Another thing that we do a lot of up here is motorcycle riding. I rode motorcycle, rode trike for a number of years, and after a while I wasn't riding as much, but I will tell you the rides on motorcycle up here are great. So people come up from Phoenix, they ride their bikes up here because the views are phenomenal. Cottonwood Old Town has a bike weekend, kind of like Sturgis, but on a very smaller scale. But it's very popular for people on bikes, motorcycles, to ride up to Jerome, to ride to Old Town, to ride into Sedona. It's just, they're really great views, and it's just a fun ride. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes because I have a lot of notes on things that we do up here because it's just so close to everything. And like I keep saying, I live where everybody wants to vacation, and I feel like every day I can be on vacation because I step out the door and I can decide what activities do I want to do today or this weekend. This coming weekend, it's Walk on Main in Old Town, and they block off the street and they bring in a lot of antique cars. So antique car shows are very popular up here as well. They have a lot of them throughout the year, mostly in the cooler months. Summer, it's a little more low-key for that because it's pretty hot to have your car out on the pavement. But this Walk on Main, which I'm going to do some video of, they have the vendors, they have the wine tasting, they have the food, they have the antique cars, all out there for everybody to just come. And it's a free event. I mean, you want to pay money for wine, you can do that. But generally speaking, it's a free event. Also, there is Dia de los Muertos, and you're going to see pictures of different times that I've been to Dia de los Muertos. That is something that Tlaquepaque puts on in the month of October, beginning of November, wherever that falls on the calendar. Every year, it's an amazing event. They have this memory board, this huge board that people can come and write and draw and write a memory to their loved ones. They have dancers, they have music, they have mariachi bands. Sure, I could say that. They have food, they have all kinds of altars, I guess I would call it, honoring their loved ones. And they open up the little chapel in Tlaquepaque, and that's decorated. So you're going to see pictures of that. Stupa is in Sedona, and you're going to see pictures of the stupa as well. That's more of a sort of, I think, a Buddhist focused place to meditate and pray and whatever, but it's just an absolutely gorgeous location. It's beautiful. It's right there. The red rocks are overlooking you, and it's really fun to walk. It's very relaxing and very meditative to just walk the trails in there and see the different shrines. And, you know, even if you're not Buddhist, I think that it's a great place to just meditate and pray. So you're going to see some pictures of that because I've been there and it's gorgeous, and a friend of mine, client of mine, recommended it. Talked about motorcycle rides and hiking and biking. It's close to everything. I mean, seriously, I can go to the Grand Canyon for the day and come back and not feel exhausted. There are train rides that you can get on. In Clarkdale, there's the Verde Valley train. And we've done that ride once. I'd like to do it again. And they have different seasons and different types of rides that you can do. They have a great winter Christmas oriented one. They have ones for fall. They have ones with chocolate and wine. They have different themes. It's really fun. It's extremely picturesque. And you go out into the Verde Valley, where you can only get to if you ride in the train. And my suggestion, not everybody can do it, but I recommend upgrading to the champagne cabin. You get hors d'oeuvres and treats, and there's a lot more opportunity for viewing, and a lot more comfortable. And obviously you can order more drinks than a glass of champagne, but it's just one of those opportunities to just get out there and really see things that you're not going to see just driving on the road. There's also a train that goes out of Williams. Again, that's only a little over an hour and a half from here. And that train ride is all day, actually almost longer than all day, because it goes from Williams up to the Grand Canyon, and then you're there for the day. You do your tour, you have a meal, and then you ride back. So it's an all-day thing. But the train rides here are really quite fun, and I would recommend taking advantage of those. We have a ton of different festivals. You're going to see the Verde Valley Art and Craft Festival that I was at recently. We have the Walk on Main coming up. This season, once the weather cools down, there's something going on all the time. And even in the summer, Clarkdale has a band almost every weekend at the square. And you can go down there, bring your chair, a blanket, whatever, and snacks, whatever, and go down and listen to free music. And it's just kind of a fun family event. I talked about the stupa. Oh my gosh, out of Africa. Oh Lord, that is like one of the funnest places to go. Again, don't go in the heat of the summer. I went with my family in, I think, May, and it was still hot because it's kind of like a safari desert. It's not much cover. And we didn't bring enough water. Again, remember, you can never have too much water on you in Arizona. And we went and we did, one part of the tour is in the bus, and they bring you in the bus to the animals and they give you carrots. And they tell you you can give these carrots to X, Y, and Z animals, but don't give them to this animal because they don't know the difference between fingers and carrots. I just remember that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So we walked all through out of Africa. They have a big cat show, which is just so much fun. The big cats are just amazing to watch and what they'll do. And you get to see all these animals. You can also take another bus tour that takes you all around out of Africa. I mean, we're talking acres and acres and acres here. It's a lot to walk. And they will do a bus tour. And at that point, they stop at the different animals and they explain all this information about the animals. They give the animals treats. It was really cool because we happened to be by the hyenas when the bus came by. So we got to hear them talk about the hyenas, and it was so funny. They kind of did that barking, laughy thing, and they explained what that was about, but I don't remember now. But it's not what you think. So I was like, oh, I want to go on the bus ride next time. What else about out of Africa? Oh, this is very important. All of the out of Africa animals are rescues. So they have been maybe in other zoos, or they've been part of a circus, or they've been hurt or injured or something, and so they're rescued animals. So all the animals there are rescued, and it is funded by donations and grants and things like that. And the tickets seem expensive, but if you saw this place, you would understand why they need to charge what they do for people to come in and enjoy the animals and the entertainment. But that is also, you're going to see some pictures from out of Africa. I did that. That was awesome. I would definitely do that again. Hot air balloons. Oh my gosh. Yes. Hot air balloons. Oh my God. Yes. And you're going to see some pictures. If you're going a hot air balloon ride, you have to be willing to get up before the sun because they only go early in the morning when the air is cooler, because they need to have the cooler air to be able to have the lift, because it's the heat that lifts the balloon. Well, you can't do it in the middle of the summer at 110 degrees. So it's really popular. And it does depend on the winds a lot. I've had people who've bought tickets to go on hot air balloon rides, and they've been canceled several times because they have to worry about the winds. They want to make sure nobody gets killed, or that the basket doesn't get thrown up against the rocks. That would be bad. But it's so awesome when you get up in the morning and you're out there early. Like, I think typically if I'm out there by about 7, they're up in the air so I can see them. And like I said, you're going to see some pictures of the hot air balloon rides. That's a really popular thing here. Another thing that they do a lot, which my sister and I did get to do right before COVID, she came to visit and we went on a helicopter ride. I got to sit in the front. I was so excited. And I thought for sure I'd be freaking out because I've had some issues with heights. Lord have mercy, I had a smile on my face that was not going to come off. The views were phenomenal. You're going to see some pictures of that as well. I mean, we got to see on top of the plateaus, the deer up on top. It had been raining a lot when we went on ours, so we saw all the water just coming down the sides of the mountains, and just to fly all over Sedona is amazing. Now, I do know they do flights out of the Sedona airport. I don't think they fly all the way up to Grand Canyon, but you can take helicopter rides at the Grand Canyon as well. And I can't even imagine how gorgeous that would be. Now, it's not one of the inexpensive things to do here, but it is something that, maybe plan ahead for a special treat to do that for a special event or holiday or anniversary or something, because I will never forget that. That was one of the funnest, most amazing things I've ever done. Let me see. Oh, car shows. I think I talked about that a little bit. Car shows are popular here. We have a couple of antique vehicles, so we do drive them out sometimes and just kind of park just for fun. We don't usually go to car shows up here as much as we used to do in the valley, but antique cars are very popular up here, and there are shows frequently. Sometimes they're just like in a local parking lot. You know, it's like, oh, well, so-and-so restaurant's going to have a car show and 15 or 20 cars will just show up and you can just go over and wander around and enjoy the cars. Talked about the train ride. One of the other things that we have here that is completely free, one of many, is our amazing, phenomenal sunrises and sunsets. I think I have a few pictures of sunrises and sunsets. But they are gorgeous here. I mean, I don't know why, but they're just absolutely stunning here. We have great weather, I guess, for summer. I don't know. If anybody can explain to me why in Arizona our air is such that we get these amazing, brilliant, colorful sunrises and sunsets, I would love to know, because I feel pretty blessed that we get to have that. Sorry, I'm looking at my little list. What did I miss? What did I miss? Horseback riding is a big thing up here too. There are a lot of ranches, and a lot of the ranches will do kind of dude days where you can go to the ranch and they will do like a cowboy lunch. You can ride out on the horses. They stop with the chuck wagon and they do a cowboy lunch. So obviously there's going to be baked beans involved. I'm just saying, there will be baked beans. So horses are really a big thing here. Another thing that we've done that is just so fun, and we went to a show at the Blazing M Ranch in Cottonwood. It is so fun. They have renovated a lot of old buildings, and you're going to see pictures like they renovated a bar. And, you know, it feels very cowboy, very Western. It's just fun. There's a lot of fun activities. There's axe throwing. I couldn't find my video of that. I was bad. I was very bad. But we did axe throwing, and we did, you know, they've got the pictures that you can stand in and take pictures, and they've got animals. We went on a covered wagon ride, just a lot of different activities. And then they you paid for it, obviously. But then after you're all done doing all these activities, then you come in to the big building and they give you, like, again, kind of a meal, and it's got beans and it's got chicken and it's got meat and it's got, you know, yummies, cornbread and all that good stuff. Then you kind of expect, again, kind of that chuck wagon feel. Food is delicious. Not enough though. I could have eaten more. It was so good. And then they have an amazing show, and I thoroughly enjoyed the show. So you're going to see a couple pictures from the show. And again, it's one of those events that it's fun for the family. So it's not something that you can't bring the kids to. So again, a lot of these activities that I'm talking about are things that all ages enjoy. When my grandson was 2, Dennis flew him and my daughter out to surprise me for my birthday. And we took him out on hikes. We went to the church, I call it the Church of the Cross. There's this amazing church. There's going to be pictures up in Sedona. Everybody's got to go and see it. I mean, everybody does. It's a Catholic church in Sedona, Church on the Rock. I think that's what it's called. And we went, and my grandson went. He didn't really get a big thrill of that. But then we took him hiking. He did not like having a leash on. So we had to let him loose and let him run. But at least there was plenty of room where we were hiking for him to run and not fall off the edge of a cliff. Again, even him at 2 was enjoying just being outdoors and running around and just enjoying nature. The Blazing M Ranch has shows every weekend. So that's something that you can check into. They have, again, themes. A lot of times they'll have an Elvis one. They have a holiday one. They have just different ones. And one show is not the same as the other, so going more than once is recommended. There's obviously unique shopping here. There's antiques, there's artisans, there's artists, there's crafts, there's a little bit of everything. And I would say that that's kind of the piece of that of being here that I like as well, is I like having access to original art. And I like the antiquing. There's a lot of antique stores in Old Town Cottonwood. So that's kind of where we go a lot for antiquing. There are also antique stores in Camp Verde in the city of. Um, Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. And then there's Route 66. We are like literally an hour and a half from Route 66. It goes through Williams up to Sligman. So you can enjoy some of those little towns and just say, hey, drove part of Route 66. And the views here, I never get tired of the views. I have lived here since 2014, so the beginning of 2014, and I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter if I live here till I'm 90 or 100. I love mountains. It's part of why I want to live here, is because I love the mountains. I love seeing the Mingus Mountain Range. I love seeing the mountain ranges over in Prescott. I love seeing the Red Rocks. I can see the Mingus Mountain Range from my bedroom, and I can walk out into the middle of the street by my house and I can see the Red Rocks. So I have views all around me. And again, there's just a lot of local entertainment. There's a lot of local musicians, and they play at the local bars. There's also karaoke. I have people that I know that I've worked with that are in their 80s, and they love to go to one of the local bars and sing karaoke. Not for me, I'm too shy, but if you want to sing karaoke, we can hook you up, let me tell you. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I'm sure I did. Those are just some of the things that I've personally done, and or a couple of things that I would like to do. I'm trying to think, what else did I forget? I'll look at my pictures and tell you. So if you come to and you're thinking about moving here, just because it's a more rural area does not mean you're going to be bored. I mean, I grew up in a really rural I grew in a town of 700 people. I know what rural is, and there wasn't much to do unless you drove like an hour away. Here, there is something to do every weekend. There are always activities. There's always things to keep you entertained. And again, just being outside is the thing this time of year, now I'm recording this in October, the weather is absolutely perfect. It's perfect. It's cool in the morning, it warms up a little in the afternoon, but you just want to be outside. You just want to be outside. The leaves are changing. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So again, if you're thinking about moving to Verde Valley and you'd like more information, more specifics, please comment below, DM me, reach out, and I'm happy to answer any and all of your questions. And if I don't know the answer, one thing I'm really good at is finding out somebody who does. Thank you. And again, subscribe and comment because it helps me to get more information in front of you.